Well, hello, Crashing In podcast once again. Sorry for the 3-week delay of the podcast. Just been so busy at the moment. So I hope you don't mind, but I hope you all enjoyed that last episode I've done with methods. Really gone down well. Thanks for those who's listened, and thanks for those who shared and supported the podcast. And hope you all enjoy today's episode as well. And people that haven't listened to that episode yet, please go back to it, and after this one, or whatever you want to do, that one first or this one next, please check it out, and check out the other videos I've done, with Ace Ambrose and Sam Lambeth. It's been a good year so far for bands and that, and now we've got a brilliant band, hopefully a band that will join us at 𝐨 Records, a band called Osca. This is such a funny podcast. It's so comical, and it was so fun to edit. It was so fun to record. This was recorded quite a while back, and it's been a bit of a delay because a lot's gone on into this podcast, I believe. There's been music, live music, and it's just a lot's gone into this one. And sorry for the delay for this one, and also sorry to Oscar for taking so long on it, because I have been, like I said, I've been so busy. I do apologise. Just work and that just gets in the way sometimes, because it's not like I've got much free time, especially the quietness in the house and that to record, and it's just really hard to do sometimes, and it's hard to explain how busy I've been. But yeah, these are a brilliant band. Hopefully they'll soon play at 𝐨 Records. Don't know when, but I'm going to try and arrange it. And yeah, I'm going to play a few tunes by them, and I hope you all enjoy. I certainly enjoyed it, and yeah, can't wait for you to listen.
Hello, we're Oscar. This is a track called �Time's Divider, and you're listening to the Crashing In podcast. You're a real skyhook crawling through my mind. And if I left it all behind, I suppose I'd like to know how to live a life where the truth's control. Now it's coming back to me. It's there all along. You swear all along that you'd wake up and fall through the fire. Well, maybe those liars will wake up and look to the door. You walk without the light. You're blessed with all your might. We're under your desire. We're thrown out of sight. Our time to divide. Our time to divide. Our time to divide. Woo! You swear all along you wake up and fall through the fire. But maybe those liars will wake up and look to the door. You walk without the light. You're blessed with all your might. We're under your desire. We're thrown out of sight. Our time to divide. Our time to divide. Our time to Cheers.
Alright, Crashing In podcast, and I'm with Oscar. Hello guys, thanks for coming on. Do you want to all say your name for like the people that are listening and what you play in the band? Like, you want to start?
Yeah.
Go on.
I'm Joe. I do bass and backing vocals.
Go on, mate.
I'm Tom. I play drums and also backing vocals as well.
I'm Zach, lead vocalist. Can't play anything. We're on one short as well. Jesse's our guitarist.
Yeah.
Usually with us, but he's feeling a bit ill today. But
Yeah.
We're feeling ill, yeah. But so how have you all been coping through the pandemic?
It's been a weird one. Different to our usual
Yeah.
band lifestyle.
We've got a bit tighter, haven't we? I
Definitely, I
think
think so.
we're all on the same wavelength for that one. We've
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of we've
Yeah.
spent many hours in your shed, haven't we? Whether we was allowed to at the time or not, but
But
we've been
we
quite good with it. But
Yeah. We followed all the rules at the time, which was quite unclear. So,
yeah.
True, yeah.
Yeah.
but yeah, I'd agree with that. I think it's made us tighter. Just looking at the positives of it, because it's obviously rubbish that you can't go out and gig and everything like that.
Oh yeah.
And you know, loads of people have suffered in different ways and stuff. But it's good to try and adapt to things in a different way. I think, yeah.
Yeah. So like, have you done like much music like during the pandemic and that like?
Yeah, to be fair, we've done a couple. Obviously, like we've said, it's so hard to get into. Like the studio was shut for probably half of the time when the lockdown was going on, weren't it? Like
Yeah,
6 months at least,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
split across the however many lockdowns there was.
Yeah.
But like we say, we've got other places that we can go to.
Yeah.
We've written a few songs. Most recently, I think that was our most collaborative writing
song,
session, weren't it? That
Yeah.
we've just recently written.
Because you're limited when you're not with the band to be able to. I think a song gets written differently when you're with the band or if you're just sat by yourself, really. And I think it's always better with a band. Like, but
plus, I think we've had a nucleus of songs since when we started. I think where we needed to as I say, improve, but what we needed to do was play them.
Yeah.
We haven't. We our first gig we did 7 songs, so we've always had the songs there. So it's not like we've needed to write, but we always do. There's never a period where we stop writing, is there? We always think.
Yeah.
It's been nice to get in a position where you think, fucking hell, we've got 12 songs here. We need to pick 7 out for a show. That's where you want to be. But I don't think we've ever been short on ideas, have we?
No,
we've always had
definitely
songs
not.
in the bank.
Yeah, that's it. And that's the thing. We've always had them in the bank as well. So every song that we've written, it's always like someone else's song. So it's like Joe's came with this thing, or I've came with this thing, or Zach's came with this thing. With the last song that we've wrote, it's the first song that we've written where it was all of us together, just writing a song. And
it was a bit fucking mad,
it
wasn't
was
it?
mad, yeah.
It was a bit
was
like
mad.
the stars aligned.
It was, yeah. It was just really off the cuff, like, and I think it's when stuff like that happens, when a song just comes together and everyone's just sort of falls naturally into it. That I think they're in the best type of songs, really.
What happened? We sort of it was one of them practices like. Just, I'd forgot my beers or fags or one or the other. Jesse had forgot his capo.
Yeah.
The PA system was playing up. Just one of them. We have been having proper good practices, but that one in particular did bother us a bit there. Cause it was like, just one of them. This is. And then I think I went out to get Jesse a capo in this because we're in the studio now, obviously. And I come back and I thought Jesse was playing the Cult, ''𝐶𝐶 Sanctuary.
Oh yeah.
And then because there was, the reason I thought was playing that is because these 3 was tight on it, so I thought these all know it. But there's no chance they've wrote this without me finding out. And if they have, fucking great. But I just started singing shit, and then I thought, no, the singing ''𝐶𝐶 Sanctuary doesn't fit into this song. So then we sort of stopped, and I sort of went, well, what's that? And they went, I don't know. And I went, just play it again. I think like 3 takes, and we got the
think it was
template of the track.
Think it was,
and it's a banger as well.
It's
well, I don't like this. They're like your kids, are they? Don't like to say one's your favourite, but but it is one of them tracks that we're excited for.
It's one of them that it just sticks in your head, don't it?
So let's talk about like how you all started and stuff like just music in general. How did you like all get into music in the first place? Like.
Someone not bothered.
Well, me personally,
he's a musician.
I know you say that. You say that. Follow him. No, my brother played in a band, and they were called the Underclass, and they did pretty well.
Yeah.
And so like they'd always be like sort of around my house and that practicing. My brother's older than me.
Yeah.
And I just thought that looks like cool. That does. I want to learn guitar and stuff like that. So I learnt guitar, and then I learnt a few songs and that type of thing, and I just really enjoyed it. But then just as time went on, I just got more and more into it. Now I like to try and learn about, like a bit of a nerd really. I like to try and learn about the music theory and all that type of stuff as well, and why certain chords work with each other and stuff like that. And it just makes me really happy to do anything like that. So that was basically how I got into it, really. Yeah.
But you and Tom have always been close, though, eh? So I suppose you've both had your influences.
Yeah.
But you've always been together, sort of thing. You know?
Yeah. Well, look, because you was in bands before, which I'm sure you'll say about. Like,
very similar with Joe. Like my dad's been in bands since I was literally a baby before I was born. So I was at his gigs when I was little, and I'd be sleeping at the back at a social club, and I'd just be like, "Is the gig over? Is it over then?" Like once the music goes off, that wakes me up, and I'm like, "Can I get on the drum kit?" And I'd be like 4, and Gary, the drummer, he'd be like, "Yeah, go on, you can jump on." So I'd be there at 2 o'clock in the morning. This 4-year-old kid just smashing the drum, and he's like, "Am you finished? I go and pack up my kit now." So that sort of did it for me. That must have been. But I didn't get into fully playing music until I was like a teenager, because I'm obviously thinking of what other things to do. But I think that's what sort of brought me into music, doing that.
Yeah.
And,
I was. I mean, I've always loved music, and I've picked guitars up, and I did get somewhere with drumming, but I've never had. I've always wanted to do it. And me and a friend I used to be in a band with, Joe go where? Shout out for him. I'll tell him he best listen now. We always said at school it was always like a pipe dream. You say a lot of things at school, it never happens. But I stayed close after school with Joe, and we used to go out to the Wharf Bar and Wharf and things like that. And he says, I know somebody. He was Paul. You guys know Paul. Again, Paul Belmont, shout out. They ain't paying me, by the way.
They better be paying me.
Paying us, yeah. But yeah, Paul I met Paul one night at the Wharf, and then we had a practice, and like I was just buzzing. I think we wrote this song, and we played it for about 15 practices, and that's all we did. So like you think now, you cringe when you look back.
Yeah.
But it's all we did. Like nobody took the reins. Nobody could write, or if we could write, you just think I don't want to shout it because it probably sounds shit. So and then it just from there we just slowly added people to the band. Then I was in Open to Fire then for 6-7 years. And from then I thought I can only be a front man. I don't think I can ever. It's not having the patience, but I like to try and have some attitude. As a front man, and I just doing both just hurts. I'd love to. Don't get me wrong. I'm saying it like it's a choice. I would pick the guitar if I could, but
Yeah, but you do it well though. You do it well.
Yeah.
well, like I say, I'd lose it if I had a guitar. So it's you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I'd be thinking too much.
It's a bit more of an atmosphere when you got a front man. Like, just, I don't know, like it just makes the band, to be honest.
Yeah, when I grow up, and this is like I'm in a club of front people. So when I'm growing up, I only watch the front person.
Yeah. Oh.
I don't now because I'm aware of everything else going on now. But as I was growing up, you don't take your eyes off them. They kind of.
Yeah.
So and I thought, well, I want to be that person, but. Then you do a few gigs and you think I might reverse that decision now.
Was there any front men in the past like that inspired you?
Well, Liam Gallagher. I never like to draw that comparison because people go, "Oh, he wants to be Liam Gallagher." Oh, he's got a pretty green.
Yeah, you've only got to do some even slightly Gallagherish, and people are like, "Oh, true, no Gallagher either."
Well, my name's Gallagher.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, you must be related then.
Oh, he's trying to do Gallagher. Here we go.
Another one.
So, can you all recall like your first favourite like musician or like band?
Yeah. For me, it was the Beatles for me, straight away because I said this the other day, but like I remember it's nostalgic because I remember being like on a holiday, caravanning holiday when I was younger and that, and my dad played like Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, and I just remember thinking this is really good, and it was part of it as well was just because I was a kid and I was on holiday, I was enjoying it. But yeah, ever since then I've always loved the Beatles, so them would be my favourites. Yeah, I've got to say.
I'm the same, Beatles, because my dad's just he's got a sort of, I couldn't even
obsession.
Yeah, an obsession.
I don't know how your dad ain't got a job.
Yeah, he should.
Beatles.
He should be a university lecturer for the Beatles. But there's footage of me. I need to get it out. Actually, I've got it on a camcorder tape somewhere. I'm on the fireplace. There's a little stage, and I've got my plastic guitar when I was like 2, and I'm there. Beatles are on the TV doing. I think it might have been the Ed Sullivan Show. I don't know.
Yeah, nice.
And them doing "She Loves You," and I'm there, and I only do the choruses. I'm waiting for it. I'm just going. I love you, yeah. I love you, yeah.
First words.
That's it. So yeah.
And your mum and dad, I'm like, oh, he's talking.
He's singing before he's talking. These two are in the Black Country Beatles band.
Oh, yeah. He was talking about that earlier, weren't we? So what's that like, being in like a Beatles tribute?
It's brilliant. It's in terms of me getting into music and like playing on stage and stuff. I couldn't have asked for a better group of people to be able to get some experience from and learn from, really.
So, who's Paul McCartney again? So
I'm Paul McCartney. That's
right. I couldn't tell.
Ringo.
I guess that.
And then the other two fellas do. Like one of them being Tom's dad does. He does George Harrison, and then we've got another chap, Gary, who does John Lennon. But you probably agree with me here. But having Andy and Gary, who are older than us, and have been in bands for longer than us, and even things like being able to set PA systems up and getting the right sound for different things and stuff like that. That's just like the tip of the iceberg, because I think the stuff that we've learnt in terms of like, I don't know, like harmonising in songs and things like that. I think we've picked a lot of that up from obviously a lot of practice doing it, and so we then try and channel that through our own band and that like. I mean, I don't think we massively like the Beatles. You know, if we was, we'd be a lot richer, wouldn't we?
Oh, probably, yeah.
But yeah, I definitely think that the like the technique of the way that you produce and present songs and stuff, I think that's helped us out a lot.
Yeah.
Like, and it's really, I feel really privileged to have had that knowledge. You know what I mean?
It's so for me as a frontman, it's so like empowering having these two on backing vocals though, because you can turn a song into what's a good song into someone else.
Yeah.
And like we've got a few examples. We've recorded recently with Times Divide especially, and like with all of them, to be honest, they've all got their own examples out of it. But these two are just flawless because they do it. Because they do it, and like you say, you've had an education with the Black Country Beatles since you've been with them, so it's good to use, good tool.
Definitely.
So, I don't know what I'm going to ask you. It might be a bit of a cliche question, but Beatles or Stones?
100% Beatles. I mean, me personally, although I think the Stones are amazing, I don't know why there's a comparison. I just think that the Beatles are just. And if you ask anyone who's in a band who wants to be in a successful band, then
It's got to be the Beatles, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean they're the ones for me. Yeah.
What would you say? But later Beatles or early Beatles?
Depends how I'm feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Depends how I'm feeling.
Yeah.
I mean, there's earlier Beatles stuff. I'd say, I wouldn't say it as experimental, but you can tell how they got more experimental, obviously, as you get on with.
For the time,
it's
experimental.
It is. It really
You know what I
is.
mean?
Yeah.
they're like two separate bands, aren't they? The personas that
Yeah,
took
yeah.
into the 70s.
Really is, yeah.
It's like it's that Rubber Soul kind of separates.
It really is, yeah.
Like, and that, to be honest, Rubber Soul's my favourite album, or Revolver.
Same.
Um,
Same.
Yeah.
Between them two. for
Yeah,
me.
Yeah,
same.
between those two, but because Rubber Soul was the last album they toured on, wasn't it? So
Yes.
Yeah.
then Revolver was just them recording,
Yeah.
experimenting. But I personally, I prefer like the later stuff.
Yeah.
I just like the experimental bands.
Definitely,
You know what I mean?
definitely.
I think you put it perfectly. Depends what mood you're in.
Yeah, it really does.
Because
Yeah, it really does.
how many times have you been at a party, like an engagement party, with your
Oh,
auntie's
no,
50th,
yeah.
and the bit She Loves You comes on, and I sort of
guilty
Yeah,
pleasure,
you
isn't
you
it?
couldn't listen to
Yeah.
While My Guitar Gently Weeps,
Yeah,
could
I
you?
know.
No,
In them
that's
situations.
100%.
But when you're on
know,
your own,
Yeah.
everybody's going, "What's this shit?" Your auntie,
Yeah.
your auntie's going, "Turn this shit up."
Yeah.
Martha, my dear, what?
Get some Stones on.
I am the Walrus.
Oh yeah, I mean it's
That's the
genius.
track for me.
Genius
Yeah.
stuff.
Genius. Alright, I don't know. I think I'm more of a Stones fan personally.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Right, that ends the
So-
podcast.
That's what I love about it. I like music. It's
Splits
That
It's-
Satanic
perfect.
Majestic album, whatever it's called, it's just one of the best psyche albums I heard.
This is, I mean, like, obviously people have got their preferences, Beatles and Stones,
Yeah.
and you know, Oasis and Blur. You can go into it as much as you want, really.
Yeah.
But what you says there, like, I think you're right. It's completely subjective music,
Exactly,
and
yeah.
that's what's magic about it. Like, I mean, you can have an opinion on music, but someone else is not necessarily going to share your
true.
opinion on that.
I think
and
a lot of
that's
people,
what's beautiful about it.
especially British as well, they feel like they have to choose one.
Yeah.
And like,
Love an argument.
I've never been like that. Yeah, we do love an argument. This
Great.
way.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I've never been that way, really. I'm a massive Oasis fan, obviously, but I didn't dislike Blur because of it. And same
Yeah,
with Beatles and Stones. I prefer
appreciate
Beatles, but
Blur and, yeah.
Exactly.
Show
I
me
don't
some
mean I don't
Stones music,
dislike
I love it.
Stones at
Yeah,
all. You know what
yeah.
I mean? Yeah.
I feel like you got to appreciate everything, to be honest.
Yeah, of
If
course
you're
you
into your music, you got to like a bit. Like, if you saw my record collection, it's fucking everything from
Yeah.
Afrobeat to Psych to fucking.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I can be there listening to like the Beatles or something 1 second, and then like a Dua Lipa song will come
yeah.
on or something, and I think, God, this is like a
Yeah.
club tune, and
Yeah,
I wouldn't
yeah.
usually like something like this, but I find myself liking stuff
I do,
like that.
yeah. It's like I appreciate. For some reason, I don't mind house, acid house.
Yeah,
Well, I
yeah.
don't mind that because if you think about it, it got a bit of that Beatles vibe in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fucking acid.
Well,
You know what I
exactly,
mean?
Yeah, that's where it all came from. yeah.
So technically, the Beatles was rave before rave was a thing. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
yeah. Well, we went back after the England game. We went back to your shed Friday. And like 1 minute was listening to like Roxy music or something. The next was listening to like some of Ibiza track.
Yeah.
Yeah.
really the silver. But
You can't help but fucking, you know.
Yeah.
I just
Get into
it's the moment, ain't it? I think that's
Yeah.
what's magic about it. It's like the present moment. If you listen to a tune and you're with people and you're enjoying yourself and stuff like that, and it comes on and
Yeah,
everyone's getting into it, like why not? Like it
Yeah.
don't really matter what it is. It don't like
As long as it's none of the modern pop shit, but you know what I mean.
Well, yeah,
you know what
yeah,
I mean?
no,
The charts
no.
and all that.
Like, yeah, you're right, because I don't listen to much stuff like that.
Nah.
But then again, if I was, I don't know, in a pub somewhere and I was like about 5 deep or something, and it come on, like you'd probably end up getting into it. I don't know.
I think a lot of with the new music, I think a lot of it, especially for like lads our age, I think a lot of it is ignorance, and I'm the worst for it. Like I sat there and watched the Glastonbury experience.
Yeah.
I've seen it, what they've done with it this year, and I listened to the Wolf Alice show. Well, watched the Wolf, and I watched Poem as well, and for the missus really. But I was like, I'm enjoying this, and then I think I'm ignorant. I need to. Some people want it in your face, don't they?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Some people I'm like,
You do
there's
need
no
a bit of
good.
that sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't know. It depends.
Some people say there's no good
If you're punk.
music out there anymore. It's like, are you looking for it,
Yeah.
or are you just waiting for it?
But
That's it.
I mean,
need
you're
to-
sat at home
you need
every
to
day.
look for it now.
Exactly.
It's not just shown to you. It's not just like,
Yeah.
what radio show are we going to put on?
Exactly.
Radio 1. Let's listen to the pop charts. It's
Yeah.
everywhere now. There's so much music concentrated, and you need to find what you like. That's the problem.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think it's been like, I reckon it's probably been like that all the time, really. But when you think about like 60s or 70s music or 80s or 90s music and that, and it's shown to you now, you're only going to be really seeing the ones that were famous and made it well
Yeah.
and that.
Oh yeah.
Like
Oh,
there's
they
a
got
load
famous for a reason now, ain't they?
Exactly,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Like,
Like, there's a load of stuff now that probably won't go anywhere, but there was also a load of stuff then. But us in this time now, we only end up seeing the ones that did make it somewhere.
Yeah,
So like it's easy to have like a biased
Oh, I know.
perspective on it, I suppose.
Like, I do like the rare stuff as well. Like recently, a psyche band I got into recently is 𝐾. Have you heard of them?
No.
Listen to 19th Century Man by 𝐾. Fucking great psyche track. And I want to do a DJ set and I want to open up with that track.
Nice.
Then go into the
And
fucking
send it on to
Stones.
me.
Yeah. Go on Spotify, 19th or 19th Century Man.
I love it. You want to be a fully fledged DJ just for that track.
Yeah.
That's
Well, the thing is,
19th century man.
19th Century Man by 𝐾.
Can.
Has
Yeah.
he took any?
The whole album's fucking good, but that is such
Yeah.
a great psyche
I love
track.
it.
If you like your psyche stuff,
Has he took any like inspiration? Is it one artist or is it like a band?
it's
or is
a
it
band,
a band?
from Germany.
Oh wow.
Fucking good.
Have they took any inspiration from like King Crimson? Because
No.
21st century schizoid man.
Well,
No,
if they
no,
have took any
no, no.
inspiration from King Crimson, then I'll probably
1968
like
the
it.
album came out. So I don't know, but it's
Well, I think actually
yeah.
King Crimson that album
68.
came out afterwards, maybe.
69.
There was the earliest album I know by King Crimson is the Court of the Crimson King, and
Yeah,
that
that's
was
the
that
one.
was that was very
That's what
early,
it's
and
on,
that is a fantastic album. Like
Yeah,
it's
it is
very
class,
out there,
it is
but
class.
it's one of them that
Yeah.
never. I can imagine with the band that you like
Yeah.
that can that you're
Yeah.
talking about now. It's like one of them that maybe we don't know much about now because maybe they don't sell millions and millions, but that. I don't think that takes anything away from the music.
Oh,
You can have a
no,
class
definitely
tune
not.
just because it ain't sold
Oh,
loads, you know.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. They didn't get big. They're one of those bands. I'm just like, how didn't they get bigger than the Beatles?
Yeah.
They're fucking amazing. When you get into, I don't know. I'm one of those people that likes messy fucking music.
Yeah.
And like messy psyche music. I don't like clean shit. You know?
Have you ever heard of a band called Osric Tentacles?
I don't know. No, I don't think so.
Try 'em.
Yeah.
Try 'em, man. They've got my favourite album by them.
You might need to text me these.
I will.
Yeah.
Because
Because my phone's there.
I'll get his
Looking for
number.
Yeah.
I'll get his number. But now they've got an album called The Floor's Too Far Away,
Yeah.
which in itself just
sounds
sounds
psyche, to be
It's-
honest.
What was the track
It's
that you showed
mental.
me the other day?
Ping.
Ping.
Ping,
yeah,
it's
that's it,
called.
yeah.
Mm.
Like, the musicianship is
It's
just
outrageous,
incredible.
isn't it?
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, outrageous,
It's-
really
that's the
outrageous.
only
Like,
way
I
to
just think that
describe
shouldn't be. You shouldn't even be allowed to do that sort of thing. You dirty bastard.
This is for me though. This is what sums up having an interest in music. Though, like none of us are old enough to remember that. Well, obviously
No.
we were born, was we?
Well,
But like,
no,
still
I'm a
talking about it.
2000.
Yeah.
That's what like, people
Yeah.
say I've got an interest in music, but sometimes you have to question it though, because they went and seen 𝐭𝐤𝐳 once,
Yeah.
and they went, I love
Yeah.
music. I love him, Biffy Clyro.
Oh, he's a great chap, that Biffy.
𝐭𝐤𝐳 are one of those bands that I liked before,
Early
but now I
stuff.
just fucking hate them.
They're all like that now, aren't they? Any band from
Bands
that
always
era.
start like
Yeah.
bands like I don't know.
They grow up, don't
I'm trying
they?
to
And
think of
they grow up and they want to like show it, don't they, through
Yeah.
the music, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh
I
man.
don't know. I think they just got a bit more poppy.
Well,
You-
They made it, didn't they?
Yeah, then they
Only
just
by-
ruined it. It's like
Yeah.
Blossoms. They started off quite good. Then the second album was just horseshit.
They appeal to different people, don't they? Because
Yeah.
I've seen the Blossoms and
They're
like,
fantastic, like.
they are good.
They are so
but,
good, like,
But
they're a
their
proper
crowd
band.
now is they've probably got more women than men now.
That's
Whereas
what I
when
was
they first
thinking.
when
yeah.
they first come about, they weren't a pop. They were indie, weren't they? Whereas now,
yeah.
they bought that.
I consider them
girlfriend.
as
Yeah.
pop in some ways. I don't know if they're in the charts or anything like that, but like it's like indie pop.
It's
yeah,
BBC
it would
new genre,
definitely
It's
be pop,
BBC
yeah.
and that again, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
It's
yeah.
because the people that listen to BBC are into popular music. They're not into rock and roll.
That's
or
the
anything
thing
like
about
that.
calling something pop as well, though. Like everything's pop if you think about it. because
Yeah,
if
whatever's
you're
current.
listening to it, it's popular.
Yeah,
Like, it's
yeah,
popular,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
like pop art and stuff like that. It's just
Like, if you think of like the 1700s and that, and it would have been like
green sleeves. And
yeah, and like Bach and stuff like that. You know what I mean? It'd be like, oh, what's the new tune coming out now?
Yeah.
When we're going to be able to watch it? Oh yeah, he's playing a piano in like some theatre somewhere. Like, that's the only option we've got. So let's this is popular.
It's like I don't know if it's just me, but it's like I remember when in school I used to love Beatles and Oasis and all that. But then when all my mates started liking them, I fucking hated them.
Oh,
I don't know.
you're one of them.
I'm one of those.
Well,
Yeah.
that was a bit like my dad, like
Yeah.
because he was born in like '62, so really he grew up with the Beatles all around him,
Yeah.
but he didn't get into 'em until about like the late '70s because he was just a bit like, what's all this going on here? Like it
everyone's
was like the
massive
hype,
on
and he
it,
was
yeah.
just like, nah, like I don't get it. And then he eventually, from his brothers, like my uncles, he'd be like, you need to listen to this album, and I think he gave him the White Album first,
Oh, it's a good album to start.
and
on,
they
to
were
be
like, and he was
honest.
like, what is this?
I'd imagine with the Beatles though, they were a boy band, weren't they?
Definitely,
there must
that's-
have been
yeah.
some stigma at some point
Yeah.
for a bloke to like the Beatles. If you look at the Shea Stadium and
Well,
that,
yeah,
there ain't many blokes
it's
in
all
that crowd, is
birds,
there?
wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, when they did that Paris one, when it was full of blokes, it was like what's gone on? Everyone
Yeah,
was
there was
like,
like, what you into here?
What's weird about that? Like if
Yeah,
Oasis
yeah.
play, there'd just be blokes, wouldn't
Exactly,
it?
yeah.
So
And they've even
weird,
said
They're a
like,
boy band with the Beatles.
they'd write songs like for the audience, which was like young girls and that at the time. And,
Yeah,
and there was I was listening to an interview the other day, or like with one of them, and they were saying like we saw like a bloke in the audience, and it was like, bloody hell, like we
need to change it up a bit.
yeah, like, 'cause you can't be like saying about
Yeah.
you know, like you left me behind, little girl, and all stuff like that. And he's there. He wants something as well.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
wants
he
something
wants-
for him as well, yeah.
A bit more naughty, you know.
Yeah.
So, would you say the music you listened to in the past inspired what you write and play now?
100%.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so.
Yeah. I'm like you. Well, there you said the sort of ignorance towards pop music and stuff like that. I'm quite into pop.
You're quite good. You're probably the four of us. You're probably.
I've
the
never
more-
known anyone like there's a song that comes on or like
No,
just
there
like,
isn't. Yeah.
I don't
Remember us record?
I don't remember.
Go on.
Oh, okay, yeah. I was just going to make a comment then about like if I was in a
Oh, I
music
am
business,
recording.
I'd want
Yeah,
you.
Go on.
Cool. Do it again.
Go on, yeah. Go on. Ask the question
All right,
again.
The £1 million question.
Yeah. And we'll
Gotta be a
pretend like it's
do a
just a
music
shock
question.
to have that question come to us.
Fucking hell. I don't know if I could take this serious. But what would you say the music? Would you say the music?
Well, yeah, I know exactly what you're going to ask. I think. No, I think we've all got our influences definitely from like the past and stuff, like say Beatles and Oasis and everything. But I do like sort of keeping an eye on the pop music sort of thing, because at the end of the day, art and music, it's all about the now, isn't it?
You're really good with that. You know you're like you said, anything that comes on, he knows who it is, don't he?
Yeah, like and blah blah was playing on this gig or something like that. And, like, and what year was it? Oh, I can tell you the year, but I can also tell you the month and the fucking second.
Yeah, it's a bit like I'm a bit like my dad in
He's
that.
actually the CEO of Setlist.
But you've got to keep an eye on the pop music scene, because if you want to, unless you're doing music just for solely your own sort of thing, but
if you want to make the big time.
yeah, but it not always that. You're sort of always surrounded by pop music anyway, unless
Yeah,
unless you block that out constantly, you're always going to be around it. So
The thing is, your mates, if you're in the car, your mates, you can't exactly change the radio
That's it.
station, can you?
Yeah, no, fully.
Look like a right
Yeah.
twat, wouldn't you?
yeah.
It's relevance as well, isn't it? With pop music, you've got to see what's relevant. You know what I mean? Like you said, if you're doing it for just yourself, you play whatever you want to
That's
play.
it,
But there's
yeah.
certain tweaks you can make to your own music.
Yeah. I mean, we could come up with all sorts of shit that
Yeah.
don't mean anything
Yeah.
to anyone. But if you wanna be in a band, then you need to, like, the audience and the people that like, you know, buying your music
Yeah.
or watching your music and the most important thing in the world, because otherwise you ain't going to be able to sustainably carry on as a band.
That's why
Totally.
you can put a slight on popular music, but at the end of the day, the people that I'm watching are the population, isn't they?
Yeah.
So if somebody says I like this tune, that is popular music to you
Mm.
because somebody said they like it.
That's
Yeah.
it.
You ain't gonna go, I ain't playing it again. So
Yeah, I get
I'm
it.
sorry. I'm glad you enjoyed it, but that was the last
And-
time you'll ever hear it.
Exactly. Yeah.
You'll play it again, wouldn't you? So
That's it. And with like how technology's changing and stuff like that, like so rapidly, like you've got to keep up with it because of
Yeah.
the different like sounds that you can put into it and
Yeah.
different like production like tools that you can use and like us recording
Yeah,
ourselves and stuff
yeah.
to get demos and
Yeah.
and things like that. It all just adds to the to how you write and stuff like that. So
It's like that through the like. What is it, like 4D recording, that, like, where you can...
the spatial recording.
That's
the one,
You've
yeah,
seen
yeah,
that
like-
on
Like-
iTunes.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like, I think Billie Eilish was probably
Yeah,
the
yeah.
first person to do it, like, in
Yeah.
mainstream, like,
Mm.
but then you'll get, like,
Yeah,
people
everyone's
release
doing it.
albums where you can listen to it in your headphones and it'll feel like the music is around you, like,
Like
you're
that's
there.
class, that is,
Yeah.
that's amazing,
When
like,
can you
that's
access
another...
all that?
Well,
Like-
one of our mates actually messaged us last year. I think it was like about this time last year, probably, because he was like in lockdown and stuff, and he's very musically like
Yeah.
talented and stuff. And he's like, lads, listen to this how I've like mixed your track here, and it's going all around your head and stuff like that. It's
Yeah,
like
the
whoa,
sound,
like
yeah,
it's
it's
so
weird.
strange. But if you go onto iTunes, I think they've got a
Oh,
playlist called like spatial mixing or something like that, and it's iTunes are pushing it, but it's whether that's got like an audience or not,
Mm.
like
yeah, some people do it just because let's see what it's like.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like just
yeah,
maybe
testing the
for
That's
the,
where the good
like,
ideas come about.
the
because
novelty of
sometimes-
it, like, yeah.
Yeah.
But you can guarantee, like, in a few years' time and that, though, like, that'll
old tracks
probably
as
be
well.
it'll be the way to listen to
well, that's
music.
what they've done.
They're
They've
going to put it on old tracks and all
Yeah,
that.
definitely.
Could you imagine
They-
Pink Floyd on that?
I think
Yeah,
they've
yeah,
done
they
a Pink
already
Floyd
have done it. Like, there was like I seen something from Plastic Ono Band John Lennon,
Yeah.
like that first album that
Oh,
he did as a
really?
soloist.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
they've,
yeah.
they've recorded that now in a way that you can put it in the cans, like,
Oh.
and then you can listen to it as though
You
it's.
know.
and it
playing in
changes
a
the
room,
whole
like,
it
it's
changes
amazing.
the whole track as well, because there's some elements in a track where it's just put in to fill another instrument. So you'll put in, say, 2 guitar tracks so that you can heighten the main guitar
Yeah,
track and
yeah.
give it a bit of treble or whatever,
Oh, wow.
but they'll space it out so that you can hear the second guitar track somewhere else, and it'll just completely change the track
Smart.
completely. And it's very
It's
It's
interesting.
really clever.
It's very
It's
yeah,
really
yeah,
clever.
I was
yeah.
thinking that, yeah.
Mm.
But what motivated you to all form a band, and how long have you been together?
Well, we was motivated by a fair few drinks, weren't we?
So yeah.
The idea of the band come about because Joe's brothers stag do in Lorette de Mar, which, like, I'm sure it's a nice place, but we went during drum and bass weekend. Or whatever it was. It was funny to look back because it was still a great holiday.
It was a great holiday, but it wore a nice place.
No, but I just said to Joe, "What you doing now?" And like Joe's one of them. He'll always be in 3 bands at a time. Won't he? Do you know what I mean? And he don't favour one to the other. He just loves
3?
it. You give him 10 and he'd do it.
I'm a band slag.
So yeah, so I just went, should start one, and he was just like, yeah, and I was like, dull, because I'll take your word for it.
Yeah.
And like, fair play, he did. So like, and then yeah, we've had a couple of people come in and out, have we? But like we've
Yeah,
got
man.
obviously you introduced us to Tom, and then I was
Yeah.
like, he class, so it's a no-brainer.
Mm.
And then so it was kind of us 3. We had a guitarist, but
Mm.
then Jess, it's good because like through association, I knew you, they know Tom, but you knew Tom, and then like, but I don't know Jesse, and like obviously you did, but Tom knew him. So it's kind of we've all sort of like by association got together sort of thing. So
yeah.
yeah, I suppose.
It worked out well,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
one,
yeah,
it's one,
yeah,
of, one of
yeah,
them things, like
It-
really.
It's like it weren't sort of forced, like sort of thing. It just sort of all fell into place, and it was like we found, because that's the main thing, finding 4 people that you actually like.
Yeah, you've got to like
not
them.
just not just you could go to like a college or something like that and find
Pick people
amazing
out. Yeah, yeah.
musicians and just be
Yeah,
like, do you want to
yeah.
form? But that doesn't always work.
But
You
it's
spend a
like,
lot of
exactly.
time together, don't you?
yeah.
You know what I mean?
But I remember
Yeah,
interviewing a band that formed in lockdown. Then they split up in like a few weeks. I interviewed them and that, and it was just a fucking waste of time. To be honest,
that's it,
I was
yeah.
just deleted their video.
You bastards! Have you seen how much time you've wasted?
Disgusting, man.
But
Fucking hell!
and it's kind of fucking shit because they're very uni students. So like, there was into Green Day and that. So I was like, oh god, that kind of loses a call for the podcast. To be honest.
Well, if it was uni students like 20 years ago and there was into Green Day, that'd be alright.
That'd be alright,
But
yeah.
Oh yeah,
it's just
it was just weird
another-
band.
Yeah,
weird,
the one
weird
actually
looking
born
band.
when Green Day come out. Like,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
the.
I don't
yeah.
know, but it's like they're just a band that didn't look good, like as a band together.
that's it.
And they had like animated. They like took pictures of themselves and photoshopped them all in a fucking photo, so it made it look like they was
Oh
in a band.
no!
Oh, because of the pandemic,
no.
I assume.
Yeah.
Oh, man, you just wait, wouldn't you?
just
I
gotta-
was, I was too nice back then. I was like,
Check not.
You-
Check,
you
check
wouldn't
none
do
of them
that?
and following you on Instagram.
Yeah, that's
right. They'll be after you.
but it's just like, I just remember seeing all this stuff like, fuck's sake. But I was too nice, so I was like, yeah, come on.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you could
Oh,
just,
you ain't being nice to us, like you.
Oh, no,
Rip
no.
us apart.
you know.
Rip us apart, man. That's what we
You
need.
fucking, you would see, you saw, it was like a video chat podcast, and you just saw me just there, just not interested in
Oh,
anything
yeah,
I
yeah.
said. But yeah, let's go on. So where did the name Oscar come from?
Tom,
Yeah.
I don't know where you got it from.
It's
I do.
yeah, it's my my
Well, you
part-
might have told me, but I forgot.
Yeah, we like to say it's for all different reasons. Like, so it's just an abbreviation. Like, so
Yeah.
you can just make it up on your own. So it's OSCA.
Yeah.
I think we've had a lot of different.
It was weird because
what's
because we're writing music, we've got no issues whatsoever. But it just seemed to take a very long time with names off. It
Band
was
names
just-
are
Yeah,
hard,
it's really
aren't
hard.
they?
We had
Hard.
Blue Fuel.
Album names.
We had
and
Blue
that,
Fuel
yeah.
originally.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That was sounded like the best thing ever to me at the time, and now I think, thank God, we'd hate that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we'd find like only strippers can.
Yeah. Odd socks conquer Australia.
I'm so cunting arsehole.
I should put that
I'm
as
so-
like the title of the name.
But really, it's just it's my partner's mum's dog,
Oh.
and her name is Oscar without the R.
With
That-
me?
that's- So.
I just assume one of you were called Oscar.
Oh well, that's it. That's
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
'Cause
we've
there's,
had that,
there's,
haven't
there's a definitely a person on Spotify called Oscar,
Yeah.
and I think
Oh,
they
yeah.
are like a sort of dance person that just makes music from the bedroom.
Yeah.
There's
Oh,
a
yeah,
Japanese
yeah.
band as well.
There's a
called Oscar,
Japanese one,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And that's, but there
Oh.
was a band called Oscar, weren't there? And
Yeah,
they got
thankfully
onto
they
the-
changed their
They
name.
changed their name,
Yeah.
and they were on FIFA and stuff like that. So
Oh,
they've
really?
got
Yeah.
quite. So I'm quite glad that he changed the name.
I had to look into it, but apparently with licensing, if it's the UK, if it's the UK, neither band is like massive. It's ain't a problem.
Mhm.
But if we was called Oscar in the UK and we were huge, and there was an Oscar in Germany getting huge, then
Yeah.
there'd be a debate. But because
Well, All we'd have to do there is just pull a Blink-182,
yeah,
because they originally started just as Blink,
oh
and
Oh, yeah.
then they had a lawsuit come through, and there was like, pick a number,
yeah, yeah.
Blink-182.
idea.
It'd be a nice position to be in,
I
wouldn't it?
think there was an
Yeah.
Irish band, Blink. They was called Blink,
Yeah.
and
Oh.
they had to change the name to Blink-182. So we'll just call
Knowledge.
ourselves
Yeah.
Oscar 62.
Yeah.
Yeah.
69.
69, I thought that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the one, yeah,
69 's the
yeah.
one.
Breakfast for two.
But
Breakfast for tea. Class.
so you got an upcoming single coming out
Yeah.
called Lady Luck.
Yeah.
When is that out?
Friday the 13th of August.
Ooh.
Lucky for
Lucky for some.
Yeah,
maybe.
and it was luck over judgment that it's out on Friday the
Yeah,
13th.
it really is. Yeah.
We just thought about it and just thought, shit, it's out on Friday the 13th, which is great
Yeah.
from a marketing point
Yeah,
of view.
Yeah, like it's
Um,
amazing.
What was it like recording, and are you excited for the release?
The best experience ever.
Yeah, the recording was probably one of the best things that I've ever felt in my life.
Yeah.
Like
It
it
was
was just
fantastic,
brilliant.
yeah.
Yeah, because we recorded it in Southampton. It was like on this ranch.
Yeah.
and so there was like all countryside around us and that, like, and then like we'd turn up and we had our room and that, like had our 4 like beds, like as though you meant like, you know, Edgemond Hall or something. And then but then like it was a working day, so like we'd been there from 10 till 6, and like the chap who we was recording with, like he let us go a little bit longer as well, and so that was great. So we'd be doing that over the 2 days, and it was just really enjoyable. It was I found it great.
It was because it was so like sort of relaxing as well, wasn't it? So like
Really strange, wasn't it? Like,
it was because we it was just we were literally in a stables, weren't we? It's
Yeah.
converted stables.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
like we were in the middle of the country, down south, and right on the estuary, and like you come out of our stables, our
Digs.
beds, our digs, and you just go along this little country path, and you're in the middle of like a national park. Like it's so it was lovely.
Saw deer and everything.
Saw
didn't we?
deer.
Past a little chapel, didn't we? And
Yeah.
like,
Beautiful.
It's just like, what's this?
And I think that puts you in that sort of relaxed mindset
Yeah.
where you're just like, right, it's all about music.
Yeah.
Like you're not worrying about anything. You've got no distractions. You just
There's a lot to be said for
Good
that, I
atmosphere,
think.
like.
definitely,
Because
definitely.
like we recorded the Spirit in the summer, and obviously, and like it sounds fantastic. But obviously, you'll never get away. It'll sound what it sounds like.
It's a different sound.
But your mindset is like you're in a different place, like you said. It's just.
Where
just
did you
relax
record the other 2 tracks that was on Spotify?
Stoke.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Stoke on
Yeah.
Trent. But it
Yeah.
was it just appealed to us, the Southampton thing, because it was Stoke, so it's close enough to drive. But the same, I think we ain't gonna pay for an hotel in Stoke when it's only 30 minutes. But at the same time, we had to be there at 8 in the morning. It was a week before Christmas, so we was all on the piss often. Do you know what I mean? And it was just
It was knackered,
cold,
really.
dark,
Yeah.
and like you get there, you ain't warmed up or anything. It put us in a. It was Good Friday, wasn't it? When we
Yeah, it
travelled
was,
down
yeah.
there.
See, I mean, all these things, like, it was Good Friday, like, and then it comes to, like,
Great
releasing
weather.
it on the 13th. Yeah, it was great weather and that. We was
Yeah.
in, like, in the countryside, and it's
Yeah.
coming out on Friday 13th. And we was walking past the chapel, I was like, this means something. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, fuck all, really. But,
No, it was
It did
absolutely
mean something.
true.
It meant that West Brom bet Chelsea 5-2.
I know, and it's like shit like that was happening, like, and you think,
Yeah.
God, this is meant to be.
Fantastic.
So, can you talk more into depth about the single? Like, what's it like about, or would you rather keep that?
I will try.
On the down
Yeah. It's a
busy.
high energy number.
Yeah.
I'd say
Yeah.
high energy, definitely. It's got a lot of different elements to it. I would sort of say more pop punky
Yeah,
element
probably.
to it.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
massive departure from what we usually.
It's
write,
high octane, I'd say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
non-stop, eh? It's like having a
Yeah,
shot of
yeah.
it
adrenaline,
hits
really.
you.
Like, it's very,
it just
like,
hits you, and
quick.
then it
Yeah.
stays. It just hits you and it stays for it, and then
Yeah,
you
yeah.
just it's one of those. It's I don't know what it's about though.
I don't know. I mean, I suppose I was
Interpretation.
responsible for the lyrics, but yeah, I don't know. I was having a tough time, but it weren't like it weren't from a depression perspective or anything
Yeah.
like that. I was just on the train because I lost my license. That's a different story. I'll tell you
Well,
that story.
tell them that story.
I've got my own individual podcast.
We'll ask you about that later.
Yeah. But I was just on the train, and I got the lady looks about voices, and it's about gambling, it's about drugs, it's about how people seem to think that two negatives will turn into a positive, if you like.
Oh, yeah.
You know, people depend on drugs and gambling. People that got no money choose gambling to get them out of trouble. And,
Yeah.
and when you think about it, it's the worst idea in the world.
Yeah, yeah.
But at the same time, it deserves some credit.
Mm.
Like, I'm gonna do something about it, and it's the
Yeah.
worst idea. But if it comes off, I'm a genius.
Hello, is that Betfred? Yeah, a great idea for you, yeah.
Yeah.
Sponsorship there.
Yeah. But I think again, I keep saying luck, keep trying to get luck in, but luck rather than judgment. I think the mood of the track kind of picks that up a little bit. That it's kind of wrote from a one person perspective. It's not. It's moody. I think, innit?
It's that's it. It's like it's moody.
Like I'm in a
energetic,
I mean,
but
like
it's
we're in a
Yeah,
hole.
yeah,
if you like.
yeah. But you can see a light at the tunnel, but
Yeah.
you can't get
Yeah.
it. Like it's weird.
So, have you got anything else you're planning on releasing after this, or?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
yeah.
we recorded,
Yeah.
basically we recorded 2 when we
Oh,
did the
did you?
single, so
Oh.
we did like, I don't know, I suppose, I like to think of it as like we're doing A-side and a B-side, like
Yeah.
we did with the first one when we did La Spirit and New Summer, New Summer was like the A side, and
Yeah,
The Spirit
yeah.
was the B side, and it's I don't know, like I'd like to think of it the same as that.
Yeah,
really.
yeah.
But we like to
Um,
put them like on equal level. So like we don't just say, here's our single. Also listen to the B side.
Yeah.
We want to make sure that they're both
People are
like.
listening to both.
Yeah.
So that'll be the other one that will come out. And
Yeah.
when will that? When we're going to release?
We said around Halloween, didn't we? But which
Yeah,
Friday the 13th and Halloween.
Friday the 13th. Exactly.
It
Yeah.
sort of
yeah.
fell
Kind of
really
fell.
well.
It's like
and-
two horror films.
Yeah,
like-
well, the
exactly.
second song is a bit of
yeah.
a horror film, to be fair.
Oh, really?
I'd say. Yeah.
Yeah, it
And-
was. It was one. It was like difficult to record as well, or it.
Yeah.
the art, we've kind of really what's been good about this, as opposed to the last bit where it was a bit kick and rush, see what happens with the tracks. We've kind of bought into that aspect of it, and like the artwork we've got planned and stuff. Really like channels in on all that though.
Mhm.
Yeah,
The artwork's proper. Like
Yeah,
you just said, a horror thing. It's
Yeah.
we're kind of going down that.
Oh.
Not
I think
too.
you'd quite
deep, but-
enjoy the second song as
Oh.
well, because it's nearly 6 minutes, ain't it?
Oh,
So it's,
is
a
it?
bit, it's a bit proggy. It
Oh,
is a
nice
bit
one,
proggy.
nice one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Right,
definitely.
for
So.
the music video, we have like Mike Myers and fucking.
Well,
Not
Jason.
too far away,
Sort of-
really.
Not far
too
away.
far
Yeah,
away.
yeah,
Like, I mean, we don't want it to. I wouldn't want it to be like, you know, like.
Cringy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
But
I know
just,
a band that done that.
but no, I think the essence of it is like something a little bit strange, like
Yeah.
something that would make someone look twice and think, what's happening here?
What's going on?
I don't know.
Yeah.
So yeah, like we got some plans for what we're going to do.
Yeah.
Like with the.
And it's kind of, I don't say.
I don't know how much I'm allowed to say. Like,
That-
we
well,
ain't discussed
we need
this.
to talk to our manager for this.
Yeah, we got to talk to the manager.
I wouldn't say it's choreographed either, but we're all playing a part as well, and I think people will find it not amusing but interesting.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean, in what
yeah.
we're doing. I know this all sounds subliminal, but I ain't giving much away. But
Yeah, I mean, we're talking from the perspective because we know what we're on about.
Yeah,
But people listening to
They're
this
gonna
thinking,
know.
like, what the fuck
What
are they
are
on
you
about?
chatting
about?
What are they on about?
What are you chatting apart
Yeah,
from?
it's just going to be a really strange video.
yeah,
Just
yeah.
settle for that. That'll be all right.
So I know your singles are like on Spotify and that, but can you get like a hard copy like on CD and stuff?
We really
We haven't
looked at
ventured
it, have
into it, have we? No.
Yeah.
No, I mean, you were saying you looked at like prices of doing a vinyl, and I'd love to do
Yeah,
a
vinyl.
vinyl
I think we
record.
all
That would be
would, wouldn't we?
amazing. Like
So,
that'd
yeah.
be fantastic. But
Singles,
you just
like-
got to think of the cost of it, really.
Yeah.
And that, like, and unless there's 100 million people buying it, you ain't going to make any sort of profit. from
Everybody
it.
sort of says, "Oh, it's back in vinyl," but then
You need to make sure everyone's gonna
to get them printed.
Get
it's
in, yeah.
so-
Yeah.
And then like we're all very down to earth, so if we're going to do it, that's fair enough. But if it turns out that the cost means we've got to charge 30 quid for a vinyl to buy, you know, a 4-track EP or whatever it is we're selling, I don't want to do that.
Yeah,
I want to give it away as cheap as possible, but
and
if you've got to pay for it yourself, then
exactly,
No,
like,
it's
and who
yeah.
really in the right mind he's going to sort of buy that vinyl when you got
exactly.
Spotify and you got Apple Music and that.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
You would. There we go. We got
It's
one
one
sale.
sale.
Yeah,
I'll just
because
swap
one
I
sale.
collect
Order
vinyl.
more, 500 copies, 500
Two now.
on the press.
Well, I collect vinyl, so I just want to get a local band section. Like in
We'll
my
have a look at
rental
it. We'll have a
collection.
look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if push comes to shove, I'd get one and just have like one only copy, and I'll get all these to sign it, and I'll just keep it for a few years, and then if anything happens, I'll just sell
That's a
it.
good idea.
Collector's item.
It'd be like a couple of grand. something
Yeah,
like that,
exactly.
you know.
Yeah.
I do think we need to get some CDs done though. I know like people say they don't listen to it, but people do like to have
Oh, yeah.
walk away
like a
with
hard
something.
copy or something.
We've seen it. We
You
recently
should-
like.
You're putting money into the band more than Spotify. You know, like if you like getting the CDs, like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not going to Spotify.
That's
Yeah,
it.
You know
of
what I
course.
mean? Like
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Bandcamp and that.
If you look at
Definitely.
there's a website on the internet that shows you like sort of pie charts of how much you need to sell physical wise, like CDs, vinyls versus Spotify listens, and it's something like to get a minimum wage
Mm.
as a performer, you need to sell 100 CDs a month.
Yeah.
But if you want to get a minimum wage on Spotify, you need to get something
Millions,
like
million
four
views
four
or
million
something,
views.
Yeah,
Four
yeah.
Probably
million
easier to
a
do the
month.
CDs.
And
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
But
Do it the old-fashioned way.
that's it.
What I've noticed is people do like to, like at the gigs we've had, people do like to go away with something still.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
do.
It's only the fact that people are going to, like, oh, I am going to listen to
Batteries.
this.
Oh,
I
I'm
can
the
still
same.
listen to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that can keep
Yeah.
it.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah,
people, we
exactly.
have
Cool.
t-shirt sales as I say, they might never wear it, but that ain't why they want to buy it. They just want to walk away. I've been to a
It's an
gig.
experience that they've
Yeah,
had, yeah,
I
definitely.
do that every gig. Well, every gig I tend to go to. Like I always buy something. I don't know. Like you need to, especially when it's a local band as well.
It's nice, that is. There's a bit of romantic. It's a bit romantic. I know it sounds weird, but
No, I know
It's
exactly
old school,
what
that
you mean,
is.
yeah. I
It's
agree.
like somebody cherishing the moment, which means a lot to us.
Yeah.
It's like if I see a big band and there's a local band or small band supporting, I like to get the small bands like
Yeah.
merch and that, because like you see everyone at the table, like where all the fucking, like, I don't know, I saw the Buzzcocks not long back,
Yeah.
like a couple of years back, I forgot who, and everyone's like gathering around the Buzzcocks merch table, but I went to the other band's merch because I could just see this one fella just standing there, like, and their merch wasn't getting sold, so I just thought, fuck it, I'm just going to buy one of their singles and
Nice.
you know what I mean?
Good
Because
on you. Good on you, yeah.
it's just like they're fucking got the money, they don't need it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
No, I think it's good to support local bands as well. Like,
exactly.
because
And also they were local as well, so they
Yeah,
was from
yeah.
Wales.
Yeah.
So like they're called Turning Black Like Lizards. I don't know if you heard of them.
no.
Good.
I'll have to have a listen though.
Like a bit of a psyche element, but like a bit of a gothy element as well.
Yeah.
Nice.
They're quite cool, man.
Bands need encouraging.
Yeah.
Definitely. And I think just like, I know it's breaking it down, but if you think of it on a financial perspective as well, if you've got a band, like, I mean, I'm convinced that there's loads of bands about now, like local bands that have got class tunes like us.
Yeah.
And I just think if they had that financial input where they could sort of spread it around and advertise it and stuff like that, I think there's a lot of people who would be into it, and and I think it's a shame that a lot of local bands do miss out from bigger bands, and you know, obviously you can understand the bigger bands getting the
Attention.
you know, the attention and stuff, but a lot of them as well, like they're in a position now where they can play and they could play any old shit and people are coming to look at it like because it's them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's just a name.
Come and listen to some new music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
You
like-
wankers.
Yeah. There's just a song that irritates me right now. It's Wet Ass Pussy or something like that. I just really don't understand how that's got
Oh.
massive.
I can't
It's a
say I've
meme.
listened to that.
It's a meme. That's
Wet
why.
Ass Pussy.
Oh, pussy.
Cause
Oh, right.
it's
Okay,
all the
I'm
fuck-
with you
Wet Ass
now.
Pussy. You know that one.
Yeah. It's a
That's
meme.
pussy.
so-
I prefer
yeah.
the 60s when they were subtle about wet ass pussies.
That,
You know
that
what I
makes
mean?
sense now because someone texted me before saying, "Can you give me the WAP?" And I got no. I got no dogs.
I got
Sorry.
a dog.
Now you know
Oh.
what it means.
Oh man.
The more you know.
You learn something new every day.
You do.
We're winning or we're learning.
Exactly.
You learn a lot off the Crashing podcast, you know. Like, it's like all the kids watching.
Yeah.
Whilst we're talking about, on the subject of CDs and that, have you got any merch that you can buy, and have you got links to it?
Yeah, well, I'm sure you had
Yeah, I
it.
was going to say. So,
Yeah, you want to shout at the audience?
little-
Nice.
Yeah, nice.
badge there.
Yeah, I think when we've got we've got our strategy now with the releases and stuff. I think with the artwork we're doing, I think it'd be a shame not to incorporate a new design, the artwork with what we're doing again.
Yeah, and we've also got Jesse too, who can our guitarist Jesse. He's brilliant at like
Multi-talented.
graphic
graphic
design.
design. He's
yeah.
very
Very
good at graphic
multi-talented.
design. Me and Tom have known Jesse since like primary school as well.
Yeah.
And one of the first things I remember at Jesse, because Pokemon cards was out at the time, and that and there was a Pokemon card, and it was called Dark Charmeleon, and it just looked really fucking cool.
Remember that?
And Jesse had drew it, and I remember him showing me this was like in primary school, and I was like, "Nah, you ain't drew that." He was like, "No, I really have," and he actually had.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's good with stuff like that.
We've learned a lot from him, haven't we? Like, he's really like he's put some class ideas in, but
Yeah.
I think there's only the first gig we ever had was just us three. So Jesse worked with us, so like in just again it was kick and rush, and we just got them t-shirts printed. To be fair, they've done all right.
Yeah, I was going to say.
They're good quality.
are
I had
very
somebody
good
say they're
quality.
good quality, and I don't know. I
guess
I
with
chose
local
it.
band merch, you don't expect it.
Yeah, I went for the.
You expect it to be like
I went for
cheap
the.
tap.
I went for the
That's
camel
it,
hair, so I thought. My mate went, brilliant quality.
It's like I've wore this for a day and it ripped.
Yeah, I got
Pretty
that.
green.
We agree. Well, it has come downhill recently, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, fucking,
Right.
I got this right cigarette burning this because of them bastards.
I'm
Liam,
pretty green now.
Listen to this
Fireproof your stuff, man.
Like, I got a fucking shitload of Pretty Green jackets and that.
Yeah,
But then I was like,
yeah.
I need to stop.
yeah, I know. I was like, why am I paying like £100 for a polo when I could just get one for like £2 off Amazon?
It weren't that.
Badge on
It
it.
was just, you can go to a
Badge on it.
vintage shop and get a fucking 1960s one. Then it's just
from
like,
the actual 1960s.
yeah. Instead of some guy called Liam Gallagher, who's he? And just came up with this idea of like
Your
mopping gear.
uncle, eh?
Yeah, I think he is.
You should get him for free.
Well, it was on an episode of Long Lost Family. Then Jeremy Connell.
I was looking for the words to say, they didn't come to me until later that day. I could see through your eyes, you knew you'd won this time, but not for long, young friend. What do you say when you're faced with a claim? Stutter and fall again, oh wait. Wait for the time when you find in your mind the words you could have said that time. Can you feel the fear inside? Can you almost taste what revenge is like? 'Cause when they're standing by your side, all you wanna do is fly. I knew one day I'd find the words to say, and they came to me while you were stood in my way. I could see through your lies, you knew I'd won this time, and that's the song, young friend. That's what you say when you're dealing out pain, using your words as line and a vein. Everything that you touch, it turns to stone. You took my hand, still I end up alone. Can you feel the fear inside? Can you almost taste what revenge is like? 'Cause when they're standing by your side, all you wanna do is. Can you feel the fear inside? Can you almost taste what revenge is like? 'Cause when they're standing by your side, all you wanna do is I can almost feel it breaking my mind and taking my time, and I know that it's not quite right. All the while it keeps on passing me by, and I don't know why I can't quite keep things tight. I can't quite keep things
So now let's talk about live music. Can you recall your first ever performance, like as a band and like in general?
Oh, good then.
Go on, Zach.
So for me personally, it was with my old band Open to Fire, and it's a shame because it was at the Nature's pub.
Yeah.
You'll know that
Yeah.
where you're from,
Yeah.
and it's not there now. Obviously,
Oh,
they knocked
really?
it down, didn't they?
Fucking hell.
But it was just comical, really, because obviously you get loads of people. It was probably the biggest crowd we ever had because people were like, "Wow, you in a band?" And I was 19, and like
Yeah, yeah.
you know a lot of people. And
Oh, yeah.
at that age, and we turned up about. My dad took us in the van, so he was like excited, and like the band was excited, like in the back of the van, like to our first ever gig.
Yeah, man.
Turned up about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, got there early, and there was no structure to the night whatsoever. And everybody turned up. Some people was driving, and like basically, long story short, we'd go on till 11:30 of the night.
Fucking hell.
and everybody was wasted, including me. There was like people, women just passing out because of how much they drank in the toilet. And my mum was coming out saying, "Who's that in there? Somebody's passed," and it's just absolute chaos.
Somebody's
Yeah.
passed away.
I mean, there is still a video. There is not passed away now. But there is a video somewhere, and like it's just everybody's turned up to like the full black. I'm like I ain't even singing. I'm just shouting, and it's just one of them. But like we finished that show, and then Paul, who was in the band, phoned me the next day and says there's a slot come up at the Stein Bar in Warsaw, and I was like, oh, I don't know if I can put myself through it again.
the day
The day after. But we did, and that one sounded just as bad. But, that's what it's all about, isn't it? I think Dave Grohl said it, didn't he? There's that quote that he says where he says at the end of the day you shouldn't have to Simon Cowell and all this bollocks, X Factor and that. What you do is you get some mates so you can have a good time with you. You will buy an instrument and you fucking suck. That's what you do. You suck and you suck and you suck till eventually you get it right.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what
It's
we did with
like
Arms of
Oh,
Fire.
it's like at this band.
And yeah, well,
Every
yeah.
band, eh?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Our first one together was.
But
at the
some
Sun
bands
Friday,
do
yeah.
stay shit.
Oh yeah. They'll learn.
Well, it's like sometimes it suits them, like the Sex Pistols. I didn't know how to play, and they fucking
They
done
done
well.
well.
Yeah,
for
they
themselves.
caused,
Yeah,
they caused
yeah.
the scene, yeah. But
So
it's-
you don't really need to sing or play, to be
Yeah.
honest.
That was mine.
My first gig was at where was it? It's Wheatsheaf in West Brom. You was there, were you? Was you there?
Faraday.
Yeah, Faraday, I think we was called then. Went through loads of name changes, but yeah, we was literally we had about 2 original songs maybe, but the rest of it was just. I think we came out to "Sugar We're Going Down" by Fall Out Boy,
Yeah.
and that went down great with the West Brom
Yeah.
middle-aged crowd.
Yeah.
But it was great. It was I had this like massive Neil Peart drum kit because I was just it was one of my dad's mates bands who was just like, can we play? And it was this massive kit. I used about 3 drums.
So you used one more than the drummer at the time, don't you?
Yeah. But yeah, it was a great experience. It felt like I was a fucking rock star. Yeah, it was a good, really good experience. It's like 11, 12 years ago now. So, but yeah.
Yeah, it was like a similar sort of setup with me. The first time that I played like in front of an actual audience was it was like Tom and Tom's dad's band.
Yeah.
They were called Carnaby Street, and they did like I joined them after a bit, but they did like 60s top 10s,
Oh yeah.
and I would always like watch them, and I just loved them because I loved the 60s and stuff,
Yeah.
And then Tom's dad had said one time they were playing at a conservative club, Darlington Conservative Club. that was it.
Yeah.
And Tom's dad had sort of alluded to the fact he was like, oh well, we might be able to get you on stage, and so I turned up like wearing like a sort of Beatles jacket, thinking, yeah, right, I'm going to be on stage tonight, and got on stage and like played a couple of songs with them. That was the first one that I did like in front of like real audiences and stuff. Yeah.
Like, for all of you, was like on your first ever gig, was you all shitting yourself?
Absolutely, yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Like, I just thought like this is absolutely terrifying because if I make a mistake, then everyone's gonna be very aware that I've made a mistake. You know what I mean? You can't hide behind anything.
Or you could just say it's a psychedelic track.
That's it.
Just say, oh, we're doing an alternative version of this track.
Yeah.
We're doing one of the 𝐒𝐄 tapes.
I've got to say though, we've lied there. That was not our first gig.
What was our first gig?
Yeah, our first gig was probably about 2005
School.
at St Paul's Church, playing the steel drums.
That's right. Yeah, it was.
At
Yeah.
Christmas.
Yeah. He's right.
Playing steel
He's
drums.
right.
We got picked. It was like, do you want to play steel drums? I was like, all right then, get half an hour out of
I was going to say, got us out of doing some like shit normal music lesson, mate.
They must have seen us and was like, they can handle mallets.
Yeah, you're right. I forgot it. I couldn't believe
So
you
we
forgot
was
about
there.
that.
Was you like popular with the girls at school then after that?
Fuck no.
Popular with a girl. Fucking
With your
hell.
steel drums.
I wish I'd have been popular with a
Chris
girl.
Dingle round.
Yeah.
In the
Would you
church.
Would you like to see my silver?
Do you want to prod my orange? Nah, never. Absolutely never. Nah. Zach was popular with the girls.
I don't really. No, not particularly. I was like, even in the early days, I've always said that I never copped off during a gig because I was just loving it too much. I was like, you know what I mean?
You weren't doing like a Mick Jagger.
No. Don't get me wrong. There was a time and a place for that, but it was never a show. Like I'd just be like, I'm staying out till like the morning. So if you can hang around till then, you're quizzing. But not many of them did. So I couldn't have been that popular.
No, I can go up on the stage any day of the week, but talking to a female, too scary.
It is a bit, isn't it? It's just easy, just text them.
Yeah, text them. Sorry, I won't be seeing you again.
I shit myself on the first one at Nature's. I've always said I've never been nervous before a gig since. I still stand by that. I don't know whether sometimes I tell myself I'm not, and that gets me, and it's like a persona. But I was absolutely shitting myself for that first one.
Yeah.
And then that next one, at the Stein one, the nerves had gone. I don't know whether it's just I broke my duct and that was it.
Yeah.
Just sort of, I'm all right now.
So
I've done it once, so.
Yeah, the last gig. I don't know whether it was Chaz, like my partner. Shout out to Chaz. I don't know whether
Did you forget Theo?
And Theo, my dog.
Yeah.
Yeah. She said, she was like, "Are you nervous?" I was like, "No, I don't get nervous."
I suppose there is that monotony of keep doing it as well. Like, you know, if you're still nervous after like 100 plus gigs, there's a problem.
Not for you,
Yeah,
isn't it?
definitely. Yeah. Especially after lockdown as well. It was just like, I mean, for me personally, I was just like, yeah, let's fucking have this now. Come on.
Yeah, it weren't nerves. It was just excitement. It was literally like it was the adrenaline pumping through us. Just like, let's just do this now. Cause
we've actually playing somewhere that's
people can hear us.
An establishment. We're playing at an establishment.
It's like
crazy.
the Stone Age, discovering fire. It's like discovering
Exactly,
live
yeah.
music
Really,
again.
yeah, completely.
But what was your first ever gig as a band? Like Oscar?
It was us three, weren't it?
It was the three of us. Yeah.
Unofficially, I'd say.
Yeah, because it was Actors and Bishop Worry in Birmingham.
Yeah.
And
it was a sort of open mic nighty sort of
dressed
vibe.
down.
Yeah, was it someone had said to you like, oh, we got time to have like a bit of a band on before us type
Yeah,
thing?
basically.
Like,
Yeah.
But we had a guitarist at the time, but he dropped out last minute. And in his defence, he had like 2 weeks practice, didn't we? So I wouldn't have done it if I was him. But in the end, we had like one practice, the three of us, didn't we? And went, let's just do it.
Yeah.
But the first one with the four of us was at the Sunflower Lounge, I think the 23rd of December. And yeah, it was good to get it off. Just get because like this sounds like shit, but I'd done it before. Whereas Jesse, like he'd never, as talented as he is, he'd never been on stage, and like you have to bear that in mind. Like some people, some people are struggling in that hour before a gig. Some people are in a worried place. Like,
definitely. Like.
So I think that kind of blew the cobwebs off a bit. I think I said this the other day. I think one part of me thinks we went in too quick with it, with an headline show at Sunflower that was sold out. Yeah. But at the same time, it would have always been nervy whether we'd have waited till March or whatever. So
exactly. I think as well it is like the positive side about having a situation where you're just like thrown into it, like because when we went up on the Sunflower Lounge, I was thinking like, oh god, I'm not going to be able to do this and that. Like, you know what I mean? Like you have that bit of panic and that doubt. But I also do think that that's a really good training exercise for when you're performing.
Really
like if you're going up there and you're thinking, okay, I've got to make this work because there's people here that bought tickets and they want to see something work and that. Like
you don't want to let them down.
You don't let them down. Exactly. Yeah. So it forces you to put a good bit of effort in. You know.
I think we're very good. I think what we've done is we're very very good learners with the experience in itself, like being on stage, because like. The first show was kind of, we did a tune and then it was sort of looking round and like silence.
What's
and
next?
people had never heard these songs, so the momentum had been lost. And but nobody could have said that beforehand. We had to go up there to find out what was going wrong, if anything. But I think that's why the Dark Horse show the other week, everybody we spoke to said you can just see you've got it now. You all know your roles and there's a momentum to the set. And
as you talk about that, like I was going to say, what's your shows like now compared to the first ever one?
Incomparable, I'd say.
Yeah,
probably.
That gig that we did a gig at the Dark Horse in Moseley. on what was the date? Was it the 11th of June? It
Mad, innit? You have that
don't really
date.
matter.
You have that date
Is it-
ingrained in your head for like 6 months, and as soon as you've done it, it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
when was
it's just
it?
like,
Yeah.
it's just like that
11th
gig,
of November.
that gig, but no, it was one of them gigs. Like everything just seemed to go really well,
Yeah,
and like we all knew what we was doing, and I think again putting another positive slant on the lockdown, I think that gave us the opportunity to make sure that we were confident in doing the tunes,
Yeah.
and then when we got up there and done it, like, and there was a support band on called Snowflake Generation, and they were brilliant and that, and like I always have I'm very self-critical, so like I'd watch that first band and I thought to myself like, oh god, and we're going to do well and stuff like that. But I do really genuinely feel that when we got up there, and plus having watched footage back of it as well, I think we did a really good job, and I think our confidence as a band came through as well. Yeah.
So that was your most recent gig?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
our most
Dark
recent
Horse,
one. Yeah. Dark Horse.
What have you played at the Dark Horse before? Or?
No.
No, that was the first time we'd played there.
I think I had
if
with the previous.
I was going to say.
Oh,
I think
yeah,
you
sorry,
might have
yeah,
played
yeah,
there,
with the
and,
previous band, yeah.
I
I've
don't
been in
think I've
for.
been to that venue, to be honest.
I've boozed in there a few times, but that's usually how I find the venues first.
yeah, I was going to say. I mean,
I turn up and go, I've been here, yeah, I've been here. I played here, I've just.
Do you want to play
pissed up
tonight?
in here.
Yeah. No, it was like it was a whole new place
Oh,
for
nice
me.
one,
Like,
yeah.
and it was a really nice area and
Yeah,
stuff
yeah.
like, and
Moseley, innit?
yeah,
Yeah.
Moseley,
Yeah.
and everyone just seemed really into it as well. I think that makes a big difference,
Yeah.
because if you're playing in front of an audience that ain't liking what you're hearing, then
Yeah.
like it can deflate you a little bit.
Put you off a bit as well.
Yeah. But there weren't even no sort of suggestion of that. Like everyone just seemed into it
Yeah.
straight away. Like even when we did the sound check and the support band and the sound guy, everything.
Yeah.
Everyone seemed to really enjoy it, and like I think that gave.
I think we've got some very honest fans, haven't we? When I say honest fans, close friends that have always tell you who it is, and you know
That's what you
some of
need.
the- Two or three come up and said you've got.
First be told.
There
you know what I
weren't
mean?
any criticism from them sorts of people who would usually say, "I'd have done this or I'd have done that." They all went,
Yeah.
"Oh, you smashed it!" Like there was
Definitely, 100%.
It's like even if you got criticism, that's like constructive.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
criticism.
Yeah,
never
like,
mind
you know
that.
what I mean?
I absolutely. I've said this to you before.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
absolutely welcome any
Yeah,
sort
so,
of criticism,
yeah.
like, because
People are kind about it.
Same with the podcast. It's like if people tell me what I do wrong, I fucking work
yeah,
on
it
that.
helps
you know
you
what I
to
mean?
improve.
Yeah,
doesn't it?
yeah.
Exactly.
I like
yeah.
a bit of criticism.
That's the
Yeah.
way. That's the way it works when you're doing
Yeah.
anything that like people from the public and
Yeah.
stuff are going to be
Yeah.
watching. You have to build on it. Oh yeah.
And I'm an honest person, so I will say it how it is.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It's good.
But
We
what is
showed
it?
him our song. Yeah, hopefully he likes it.
So what is it you love most about gigs?
I absolutely just love the feeling of being just on the stage and playing an instrument that I like. I love the bass. And I love music in general. Like it ain't like I don't even just think about it as just like me. It's like I can play something, and then like when I know that it's going well to the drums that Tom's playing, like, and
That's
he's doing like a kick beat, but like the beats are going exactly when they should, and that and then then Jesse comes in with the guitar and Zach's got the vocals. Just the whole process of collaborating together is my favourite thing.
Yeah,
basically.
Yeah, it's like a sort of euphoria around it, ain't there? Like,
Yeah, it's just
playing
it's-
with other people.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's very psychological as well, ain't it? Like how you can play on your own, like, and have like, you know, you can get your acoustic guitar out and stuff and jam to a song, but it's completely different playing with other people
Yeah.
because you link up with them and you don't even realise there's been studies on it, ain't there? Like,
Yeah,
you-
definitely.
Like
Yeah.
you sort of your brain waves sort of link up because of the sonic sounds and the waves that are going through, and it's a very strange feeling.
It's like when you think of like when we did that last song, like we got a song called Smile, which is the most recent one that
Yeah,
we've
yeah,
written.
Yeah.
It's one for you, lot. But no, we played it, and like when we first ever played it, it was like everything just seemed to sort of to fit in, like, and everyone knew when to come in.
Yeah.
And I just think that's like that to me is like absolutely magical.
Oh.
It's it's
Because
just
as
amazing.
soon as you've writ it, you're like, well, that's going in the set.
Yeah,
It's one of them
yeah.
where it's like we could play that live to anyone now. Like it's
Yeah.
For me personally, there's only one that for me, that there's only one place in the world where I can feel that.
Mm.
So I always started on karaoke because obviously you need to find out you can sing first.
Oh, yeah.
But karaoke, what I've come to realise is anybody can be able to go on karaoke because you've got the words in front of you.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
a big thing. That is looking somebody in the eye and singing a song to them is a whole completely different ball game than singing into a karaoke screen where you can just look at the screen and people are just hearing you.
You could just like
It's
ignore
it's just
the audience.
there's no
Yeah.
bubbles. Then there's only being on stage. We can practice as much as we want. We can set the room up like a gig,
Yeah,
but it doesn't matter. There's people watching and it's raw.
Yeah,
Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's not enjoyable because you have to remember your job and you have to remember you've got to do this and do that. But it's raw and that's what I love about it. So that's why it goes so fast because blink and it's gone.
Yeah, I feel it.
Yeah, but it's that's what I like about it. It's the only play you can sing in the show, you can sing anywhere, but you've got eyes on you and it's like it's raw. It's real as anything. You know what I mean? So for me, selfishly, that's why I feel it. Like, but like you said, it's when you're more on the same wavelength. It's perfect.
It's absolutely magical.
Yeah,
I think,
yeah.
yeah.
But, you know, like you mentioning karaoke. What's your favourite karaoke song?
I know this.
I
hope I do.
Favourite's a strange one because anybody will tell me Superstition by Stevie Wonder, but that's probably because I probably sing it better than others. But favourite ones.
Sing it better than Stevie, I'd have said.
Oh, well, definitely, yeah. Well, I can see the words.
Oh!
Let's just
That's
hope
it.
Stevie's
Cut
not
it
watching.
out.
He wrote it.
Cut.
Let's just hope Stevie's not watching.
Well,
He'll be listening.
yeah, I heard it. Yeah,
Bless him.
I'll tell him. No need to get lawyers involved.
You won't mind. I love him. Favourite? I don't know. It's just that's a tough one.
What, to sing on the
Favourite
karaoke?
karaoke,
Yeah, okay. My favourite to sing on the karaoke is I Bet That You Look Good on the Dance Floor by 𝐻𝐶.
Ah, yes.
I know that wherever I am, whatever state I'm
People
in,
know it. Yeah.
it don't matter how much like
It's like
Similar
the
one
song
for
gets the
experiences I've
crowd
had in the
going
day.
as well.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Similar
yeah,
one
it's
for
good,
me.
yeah.
Just what you just said then. It kind of spurred something. I like doing That's Life by Frank Sinatra.
Yeah.
Because it's one of them tracks you can have a bit of attitude with and you can play around with, like, and people know it, don't they?
Yeah, you can tell them that is life.
Yeah. And it's kind of like That's Life is kind of like I'd imagine when he wrote it and when he was he's probably singing in his front room and he was pissed up himself.
Yeah,
So when I'm
yeah,
on karaoke, I am. I'm pissed
yeah,
up.
man. I've never done a karaoke solo.
It's the worst feeling in the world.
Every time I'm going to listen to that song, I'm just going to
Karaoke
think of
sober.
Frank Sinatra pissed off.
Pissed up in his front room.
It's That's Life.
Yeah.
With his fucking brandy.
Yeah.
But on the subject of gigs still, like, have you got any rock and roll stories?
It's a tough one.
Rock and roll stories.
I'm allowed to say.
I'm going to introduce Callum to the shed.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
So
There's a lot of history in that shed.
yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah.
at the top of my garden, I've got a shed.
Yeah.
The shed of dreams, it's called.
Yeah.
That's what some people have referred to it as. I've had nothing to do with that. But no, it's like a stone outhouse,
Oh, well.
and yeah, it was always used like by my brother and sister, like just for piss ups and that basically. But since I've started to use it, I've like set it up as a bit of a studio and that.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Not that this will undo any of the horrific stuff that I'm about to tell you.
I'm scared. I'm actually scared.
Yeah. I was worried that that involved me.
I'll be getting messages like, can you cut this out? And
I won't say too much. But no, it's just like this place at the top of the garden, and it's all like soundproof, like with all this sort of stuff.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like like that.
Yeah.
But it's only recently been like that because I spent
Yeah.
lockdown doing that.
Oh, yeah.
But before that, it was basically a piss up den. So like everyone like just used to sort of come round and we'd listen to music and drink loads and stuff and like that, like the acoustic guitars would come out and that, like
Yeah,
you know, like there's a few times when Wonderwall's been played
Oh, yeah.
and just like
It's cliche.
look back on that.
Yeah.
Well, go on, Karen.
No, it's all right. So I was like, Tom can explain
No,
more, and he can give you a more levelled view of what it's like.
No,
because
it's a fantastic place to
it is great, but a lot of the times
find
I've ended up
yourself.
falling asleep, which
Yeah,
is
yeah. Yeah,
which
yeah.
is why I think that you could probably
definitely
tell me more.
No,
Yeah.
it's actually not a story that happened there. It's a story that happened I don't think you weren't there. Definitely, I don't know. You might have been there, but the most I can't even think about rock and roll stories. But there was one. I was round my house with a couple of our friends, having a drink and stuff and jamming and that, and we started doing like sort of not truth or dare. We was just daring each other to do stuff, and we made this like concoction in like a glass of like you don't even want to know. Like it was all the beer that we've got in here, like a little bit of stuff, but also things like curry powder and cinnamon and like MSG
To make it addictive.
Yeah, that's it. That's what I was trying to do, trying to create a Harold Shipman moment. But nah. So I was trying to make my mate down this drink. He got a little bit, but then he was just like, "Nah, you can forget that." So we stopped it and we carried on with the night. And then at the end of the night, he was like, "What do you want me to do with this glass?" And according to him, it was empty. But I thought it was full, and I was like, "Just chuck it outside, just leave it." And so he took that as chuck it outside. And bearing in mind, I used to live on a main road, so I was just cleaning up and stuff like that, and I just heard this, and I looked at my mate, and then another of my mate came in and went, "You don't know what he's just done," and he just came in going, "What are you on about? You said chuck it outside." He chucked it over the fence, like 20 feet into the air, and smashed it in the middle of the road. And I was like, "What are you doing?" He went, you told me to chuck it outside." I went, "Yeah, but chuck the stuff outside, not the glass." And I went out yesterday, the day after, sorry, and luckily there was no blood or anything. That's probably the biggest rock and roll moment of my life, and that's.
It's like he claimed Milgram, like, "Oh, I was told to do it." Fuck off.
I've got a few, but to be fair, the best story I could tell isn't band related. The only relation is that I was in a band at the time. But,
Yeah.
We went to Vegas. I went once with a couple of mates, and I went again.
Is that Las Vegas?
Yeah, no,
Oh,
no, the first one.
Yeah.
I thought so.
I went the first time to Las Vegas. But we went the first time, and I come back and told a bunch of my mates we need to go, all of us.
Yeah.
And we went again. There was about 11 of us, and we got there. Everybody had different flights and stuff, but we all got there. And we found this bar the first time, which is basically you pay $10 at the bottom, and you drink as much as you can in like 3 hours. That finished a few off straight away. So it went from 11 to about 7 of us, and then we went to another bar, and it went down to about 5 of us. So the 5 of us went to the Mandalay Bay hotel called the Sugar Hut. Hours went by, it's probably about 3 o'clock in the morning. A girl's on the dance floor, and there's me and another friend who I'll mention. Like after her, and like I don't usually do it, but I took the reins and went, "I'm sorry, see you later." So we had a drink, me and her. So there was three lads left then, me and 2 other mates. I'd gone with this girl, and my other 2 mates went, "Well, we're off. See you later. I'll see you tomorrow." So the night's gone by and everything, and we've walked back to the hotel, and it was a long walk, and she kept stopping off at like various toilets and stuff, and I just want to get back, obviously. Got back to the room where I was staying with 2 other lads, not the lads that was out, another 2 lads. They were thinking, "Oh, Zach's brought somebody back." We got back, and she told me she was on the game, and how much it was going to cost me, and like it was expensive. I don't know what the going rate is.
What do you mean she was on the game?
She's on Monopoly, Monopoly Las Vegas limited edition. Woman with a
Is that
moustache.
the one with the card?
The one with the moustache.
Put it with the dog.
Yeah, it wasn't bad to be fair. I'll say that. But yeah, so already I was a bit like, okay. So I pulled up a chair with her and like just spoke to her. She used all her time she could have been put into good use.
Oh.
Just saying like what you doing with your life and everything, to the point where she started crying.
Oh, wow.
Sort of saying, I ain't got an option and stuff. And I was like, you've always got an option and stuff.
Yeah.
And then I was like, hold on, she's in my room. And I was like, oh, hold on. So I says, that bloke, we were outside the toilet at one point, and there was a bloke like asked me if I wanted drugs while she was in the toilet. I was like, I'm alright, like. But every on the whole walk home, he was behind me. And I was saying to her, right behind her, she was like, that was just ignore him. I says, was that your owner? Or whatever your pimp? And she was like, well, yeah. I was like, oh. I says, hold on, how far did he follow us up to the room? She's like, he's in the foyer of the hotel. I was like, and then I thought, hold on, she was on the phone when she got in. I was like, shit. I said, does he know what room you're in? She says he asked her. Oh my God. I was like, I think you need to go. So, look, I'm telling her, like she's thinking, oh, I could have had 500 quid the time you bored me to tears, literally. So as she left, because we'd only got there that day and just threw our cases in the room, she slipped over, she fell over the case in pitch darkness, and it hit her head on the door.
Oh God.
So I was crying because I've made her cry emotionally. She fell over the case and smacked her head up. And I've had to let her out the room, and I'm just like, it's about 7 o'clock in the morning at this point. I'm just like, oh man. And like little did I know, my mates was awake. I should have known. I was obviously pissed, but my mates were like, just burst out laughing when she left. And they was like, you're in trouble, you am. I was like, oh no.
I mean,
It was like, 𝐕𝐨 came at the door.
Well, I'm getting to that point. I left it about half hour. I thought, well, what's the time limit? With how long do the pimps leave it before they start dusting you up? Well, there was like a proper bang at the door, like 8 o'clock in the morning. I was like, oh man, I was sat at the edge of the bed waiting for him. I was like a dead man walking. I was like, one of my mates went to get up. I went, this is on me. I'll try and sort it. And I looked through the keyhole, the peephole thing, and there's nobody there. And then I heard doors being knocked because we was all on that corridor. And I was like, oh man, he's like, he even give me time to get to the door, and he's like getting the whole corridor up. So I've opened the door. I'm like, we've gone right, white like a ghost. And it's my mate, one of my two mates that carried on. I thought they'd go home at 4 o'clock in the morning. They just carried on drinking. But the other mate, he'd fell down an escalator and was in hospital. But it was funny because I was like, oh, when I seen him, and he come into our room, and I get in the whole story, and then I went, what are you doing still up? And then he went, oh, so-and-so's in the hospital. I was like, well, they tell me that first. I've just told you a useless story. I think I'm going to die from a pimp. And like, he's in hospital. Just the stupidest night. We couldn't top that after that. Like, nothing ever happened, really.
Yeah.
Stuff happened, but it was just...
That's proper rock and roll,
Yeah,
that is that.
It's a rock and roll story. We've heard it being
That only
related
happens to rock and roll stars.
Well,
Wouldn't happen to
it
anyone
only happens
else.
to me, rock and roll or not. But yeah, it's a long-winded one, that is.
Yeah, I like that one. One of my most memorable. But so have you got any gigs upcoming?
Yeah.
13th of August is the next one, eh?
Yeah.
Dead
Yeah,
Wax.
Friday the 13th. Dead Wax in Birmingham.
Yeah.
Digbeth.
Is that the release of your
That's the release of
yeah.
Lady
Oh,
Luck,
nice
eh?
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a
So,
great venue as well.
Yeah.
We've got the poker table out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We played there just before the lockdown, and it is a special venue. To be
Dead
fair.
Wax.
Yeah,
I've never
Dead
been
Wax.
there yet.
It's lovely.
It's
Really
very
good.
quirky downstairs.
nice.
Yeah, it really is, yeah.
But upstairs, they've got the sound, they've got everything like bang on point. They've got the duck bar, ain't they? Just the side
Yeah.
of it. Just
Serve nice
bang
beers
on.
as well.
Yeah.
It's like proper like
ales
ales and
Yeah.
stuff like.
When we was there the last time as well, like, we went downstairs after we'd done the gig, and they've got like vinyl playing behind the bar and stuff.
Now an open decks down
There's
there.
a
vinyl
vinyl
disco,
disco,
yeah.
which I think is pretty cool, man. Like,
Probably
I
the
think
first time I've
I think
ever been in
more
a vinyl
places should-
disco.
Yeah, more places should do that,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Like, I think
We
that
used to
was
do
really
that
good.
in the record shop, like open decks every couple of weeks. And
I've
people
never- I don't
chill
think-
around,
Tied, yeah.
play this
I don't think
Yeah,
I'd ever
yeah.
been in a vinyl disco before.
Nah,
that.
no, mate.
I loved it.
No, mate.
The
Yeah.
better.
Yeah.
It's just
well,
better.
yeah.
I really
Also,
enjoyed it.
what I like about vinyl, like you look like you're doing something when you're just putting the CD on. It's just
The
over and
skill,
done
there
with.
is skill to vinyl.
Like
isn't
with
there?
vinyl,
Yeah,
you can just look at
definitely,
it and just you're just like
Yeah.
really taking your time. Like
Yeah,
you don't
yeah,
look
yeah.
stupid.
Yeah,
Like
to make it like link into the next song and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
it
it
takes a
looks-
lot more work than it does
now,
now.
like
It does look cool.
could help you Paul and that. I don't know.
Yeah, mate.
Yeah.
Oh,
But-
look busy.
I've
That's the
got that.
theory.
Yeah.
It's on.
But all right. I'm just thinking. Is there anything else? Any questions? Anything you can think of you'd like to add to the podcast?
No,
we've said about time when Times Dividers coming out, eh? We around Halloween.
Round
so
Halloween,
yeah.
follow the
Said about
socials,
when our
obviously.
when our
Yeah.
next gig. Yeah, follow the
The
socials.
links will be all
Socials are
down
all
the
easy, aren't they?
finger.
The socials. It's
Oscar
all
Band.
Oscar Band
Yeah.
underscore.
Yeah,
The
one
links
word.
will all be on the description. Now,
Okay,
so
it's
like,
Fantastic, yeah.
just makes life easier.
We'll play. We'll go into the other room and
Yeah.
play Times Divider for you, I think.
Right.
And also, like, I've got 2 more questions.
Yeah, man, get them out. I'm fucking loving this.
Have you got any recommended local musicians?
I'll have to chuck Paul, won't they?
Yeah.
I'd have to say Paul.
Paul Beaumont, yeah, Wood and Nails. Definitely get any them lads will definitely do it.
Yeah, definitely.
100%.
Yeah.
Top lads.
Fantastic.
Personally, as well as musically.
Musically as well, yeah.
boys.
Brilliant.
I don't know who else. It's hard because we kind of the last rogues get in touch with them.
Yeah.
We started sort of networking and meeting people, and then we had the pandemic. So
That's it.
Smoking Eskimo,
Yeah.
Smoking
Oh,
Eskimo.
I think I tried to get them on, but
They
it
practice
just
here.
didn't happen.
Yeah, they practice.
They practice
that?
here. They're good. They're good.
Yeah.
They're local lads.
Local
Good
lads,
lads.
proper local.
Yeah,
In fact, they're supporting us at Dead Wax.
Oh, fucking hell. I did ask them, but like, I just think I forgot.
I'll have a word.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just ask that many people and you just
You don't know who you spoke
But
to.
now, I'm just going to ask like a certain amount of people.
Put it in here.
Yeah. I haven't got a fucking pen. But I'll just, I'll ask them at some point.
Nice.
But yeah, there's sorry, I do want to get one in add like possible support band. So there was a band that was called the Underclass, and
absolutely.
they was
Yeah.
like really good. Like they supported like the Jam and stuff like that. It's my brother's band.
Enemy as well.
Yeah, support the Enemy. Yeah. They did really well. But they split up for a while. But them getting back together now, and I'm doing some stuff with them. So I'm going to try and get them in to support us because I'm trying to get them back into performing live and that. So yeah, they're called Violet Bar.
A volley bar.
Violet Bar.
Bar. Like.
Bar.
Bar.
B. Like like a bar called like BAR.
Oh, yeah.
To make it sound like
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I get
to make it sound legit.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's news to me.
Yeah.
I thought they were going with the Underclass again.
This is
breaking
news.
news.
There you go.
But yeah, I'm trying to convince.
You might
So
need to
when I
text-
listen to this, you
text
tell them.
that.
Tell them.
Yeah.
They've got to start doing fucking live gigs again.
Yeah, when you have a chat with them.
Yeah, but you might need to text me about them.
Yeah. No worries.
Like, because of fucking
Yeah, we'll
memory.
send a message.
Well, when I'm editing it, I'll remember. You know. But have you got anything inspiring you can say to the audience?
Get out and see live music. That's all I would say. I think hopefully now with what's gone on, people will want to hear proper live music.
Yeah.
That's all I could say. That's what I wanted to take out of the Dark Horse. Everybody that was there, it's the first gig in a long time. Just want people to get through the doors.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think in the last year and a half, people have just been stuck in their houses listening to music, and I think possibly it's got a bit too over concentrated.
Yeah.
And you need to listen to actual musicians doing their craft live, and I think that's the best thing about music, is live music, and I think that's the only way that you get the feel of a track.
Yeah.
Live. So definitely go out and listen to more live music. That'd be mine.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Same for me as well. Like I think go out and listen to music, and also like if you want to make some music, like try it.
Yeah.
I've spoke to so many people who always like saying, I don't know, I can't play guitar and that. Like, no, you can play guitar. Just like
Go on YouTube
or just find somebody that can, like me.
Yeah, like anything to do with music or anything like that. If you like music, then like just get into it. Like it's you don't have to limit yourself and say like, oh, I could never do that. Because if you say that, then it's just like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
It's so easy to do it these days as well.
Yeah, you've got
Technology,
loads of opportunities. Just do it. If you enjoy it, like go out and do it, and support your local bands.
Support local bands. It's the whole point of Crashing Podcast as well, like
Exactly,
supporting
yeah.
local music scene.
On to that point, follow Crashing In Podcast.
Cheers.
Definitely.
Thank you very much.
100%.
You're listening to Crashing In Podcast. Sorry, I've took your job there.
Use that as the same.
Well, thank you for joining me, and
no problem.
thanks for organising all this. And
thank
man,
you.
it's been great talking to you.
Yeah, it's been an
good luck
absolute
with it.
pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having us.
Cheers,
Like,
thank
it's
you
been
very
brilliant.
much. Nice meeting you all as well.
And you.
Thank you.
Also, this is the awkward bit because I have to walk over to the camera. Just turn it off.
Cheers.
Just while he's walking over, I'm going to tell you what he's really told us about the podcast.